It's another week in the For Your Reference household. And guess what, OT? This is our first written, produced, directed set in Ireland.
Oh.
Wow, friends and lovers. Note it off your scorecards. Let's get on with the show. G.R. Critch, friends and lovers, welcome back to the For Your Reference podcast. We're your hosts, Katie
And Oti.
Keep an eye out and amass riches until the game comes to collect, motherfucker. This week, we infiltrate Gangs of Dublin. Kin. Woo-hoo-hoo. Let's get into the general stats and information. Like we mentioned in the cold open, this is an Irish TV series that premiered in September of 2021. RTE in Ireland, AMC in the US/Canada. Created by Peter McKenna, who, according to Don Cheadle's Algae Rhythm Internet, tells me is an Australian football rules player. And Kieran Donnelly, who famously, most notably, has directed on Vikings, the Titanic series, The Tudors, as well as Camelot.
Ooh.
Right. In way of cast, we have Charlie Cox, Claire Danes, and the ever-eternal Aidan Gillen.
Ever eternal, but not in this fucking show.
Not in this fucking show. I don't know if it's offensive because I know McNulty is notably and very loudly Irish in The Wire. And I guess that's a crossover with Aidan Gillen there. But this is super OG, back to the Irish motherland TV series. And OT's kind of given a peek behind the curtain, or an open kimono if you're nasty, of how we possibly feel about this series. This is an 8-episode show, so it does favor well in our household of series that shouldn't go on for too long, or seasons rather, that shouldn't go on for too long. So it's nice and tight if you're nasty. Apparently, this series was inspired by the Kinahan gang. Yeah, so I guess it'll be interesting if we see a documentary about it. Might be better than this show. Uh-oh.
Or they were just fucking dickheads and idiots. Stupid. And sorry, we're getting into first impressions before you introduced it.
Well, let's get in, my love. First impressions. How did you feel? Because I have a lot that I want to say generally about TV shows that center around the drug game. But I guess just generally, first impressions. You're the one that introduced this show. So how did you come across it for us to even watch it? And just generally, how did you feel about it? Spoiler, 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 or splooshes, splooshes, splooshes. You know how this goes, friends and lovers.
I just saw this on my track list. I was like, oh, it looks cool. I read the description. I thought, all right, this is something we'll definitely love. You know, we love a lot of this sort of storylines in TV shows, and we consume a whole lot of that. So I was super excited and keen to see how this would go. You know, once we got introduced to the first episode, you know, albeit it was a slow burn, I thought there was some semblance of interesting facets that they could explore that would keep me hooked, and I was really interested and eager. And, you know, halfway through, I'd already called a few things that would happen, and they did, because I expected, okay, it's super fucking obvious, but they will expound on this to set up a show that would be talking about for ages to come. I was really excited about this. But when you told me that he's the guy that directed Camelot, I was like, oh shit. That should have been a telltale sign right there.
To be fair, we found that out after we'd watched the whole season.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there like a damp corner of the internet where you have a Reddit thread about Camelot?
There should be, if there's not one.
It feels like you've got a lot to say. Is that in the universe of Merlin, or that's completely different?
Don't even tarnish Marlon's name with that shit.
I know you love the show Merlin. I know you do.
Camelot was just its own fucking special weirdness that when you think the casting doesn't mean shit, just watch Camelot, because it will make you understand how important it is. You know, the writing can be shit sometimes, but man, the people that speak it, the word it, makes a lot of difference.
Friends and lovers, it's a serious note, but it's in a lighter sort of context. Sometimes it's hard to heal from our wounds. And the last episode of Camelot was in 2011, OT. 10 years later and you're still holding on to that pain. But hey, who am I to tell you when to heal, even if it's a TV show? It's interesting that you say it was a slow burn. I think the first episode really set the tone of what the show was going to be.
Okay.
Which is, I guess, a recent sort of example would be Squid Game, right? It started off very strong, and then unfortunately, it never met, let alone deliver what it promised it was going to do based on the setting of the pilot. And that's kind of what happened to this. I wouldn't say the first episode is a slow burn for me. I think it gave us some nice little, juices and trappings of what the show was going to entail. A lot of the characters had a lot of personality. Viking, for example, and just thinking of it now, maybe his nickname being Viking is, sort of a kudos and a nod to the Vikings series. Go and check out 2 of the episodes we have on Vikings, Friends and Lovers. But if you continue to stay here, we're going to talk about this show, unfortunately. No, I'm kidding. We do like this show. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of interesting dialogue, and it felt, like we were talking in our reference degustation with Taika Waititi, how everything felt so specific to New Zealand and to his experience as a Maori man in New Zealand. It felt the same way. Like, it felt very succinctly, specifically Irish in the first episode in regards to the dialogue and the way the family dynamics were working. However, I just feel like we only got that good feeling for so long. But I really enjoyed the first episode. I just want to put it on the record. I really enjoyed the first episode. I don't think we would have anticipated the way that the first season ended based on the way the show started.
Zero progression and a lot of fuck-ups. I get it. But with everything that they'd laid out for the first episode, I'd really expected more.
Yeah.
Expected more from the characters. But we just got nothing.
Yeah.
When usually your qualm with TV shows that has super intelligent people is that they need to be dumb sometimes. They need to make stupid mistakes.
Prison Break.
I thought you'd go for Lupin.
Lupin too, yeah. And most famously, we don't have it on our main feed. I don't know if we'll ever get around to Lupin, but it got frustrating. But yes, continue.
Yeah, and the other side of that coin is to have all the characters be stupid and make stupid mistakes all the single time, and then be startled that their stupid fuck-ups have ripple fucking effects.
Or even just fucking bear consequences to their actions.
Yeah, and I'm like, mate, you literally just did that. What did you fucking expect?
Yeah.
And it felt like, until we met Bren, it didn't make fucking sense how they became Kinsellas, how they became the family.
Yes.
It did not make sense.
Yes.
One bit. How did this fucking idiots...
How is it resting on the shoulders of Frank?
How did fucking Aiden... How did Frank become a leader of this group?
Yeah.
How have they
sustained their position?
Exactly. It did not make one sense at all.
It did not make sense at all. And I guess before we get into the nitty gritty of the show, one theme I wanted to talk about, or I guess conceptually, far be it for us to pull up our monocles on our genitals and call ourselves wankers. But we are well versed, and I guess a lot of us are very well versed in TV shows with solid writing that center on the drug game, right? Whether it's The Wire, very, very lovely Wire. We have like 4 hours of content on our podcast talking about The Wire, where you have all facets of the drug game being covered. Even more deliciously, we have Snowfall, which is really the rise of the crack cocaine era in California. Four blocks, where in Germany, it's being set. And we also see, the way it affects migrants in Germany as well, and how there's the element of class in it, right? We also have Drug King, the daddy of South Korean cinema and screens. That also talks about how the drug game thrived and continued to distribute in South Korea. So we are very well versed. And how dare my hippos? Narcos is a great example of solid writing in a TV show about the drug game. This show felt like it sat on a table for 10 years without any sort of complexity. We're at a point now where we understand that, first of all, there's a necessity. Unfortunately, there is a lot of pain, and there is a lot of after effects directly, to drug users. But again, we're talking about how we need to disband some of our real life personal beliefs in order to enjoy something, just like how cheating is very normalized and it's okay, apparently, in some TV shows and movies, right? So we have a lot of instances, and even Godfather, for example. You can even talk about Sopranos. See how easily it is to rattle off not only TV shows that center the drug game, but also have solid writing. I don't know if Kin has to bear the burden, but it needs to be conscious of the fact that not only do we have solid stacked writing of TV shows about drug games, but it also has facets of class. It also has facets of race. It also has facets of, police corruption and brutality. Like, there are so many elements that go into the drug game. And this show felt like they literally could have had any other subject matter. It could have been about boxing, or it could have been about hairdressing.
Mate, Desperate fucking Housewives, Terry Hatcher felt like had more things going on for her during her weird adventures and escapades than this fucking family. Fucking hell. Like, you've mentioned all those shows. And at the base of it, when you're making this kind of show, it's hard because we've already all seen it to some degree.
But if you're not going to do it better...
Exactly. If you're going to tone it down, and I think when we were watching this, I told you, growing up, when we did have money to buy things like cordial or fucking fresh juice, we'd settle for flavored fucking glucose sachets where we'd have to fucking mix it with water. This felt like that fucking, because we couldn't get cordial or we couldn't get fucking fresh juice, we had to settle for the flavored glucose sachets that sold for like 50 cents.
Welcome, friends and lovers, to the For Your OT Projection podcast, where we cover the pain that he felt from a TV show 10 years ago and the inadequate access to cordial.
It's
This is your struggle story this week, my love.
No, it felt like I'm missing something.
You're being deprived. I get it. I understand. I understand.
Mate, I'm sitting here. The guy's eating caviar on the next fucking table.
Yeah.
Why am he is fucking with my hands down my pants? What for?
Yeah. And just to go off on a little tangent for a time, Many Saints in Newark, we haven't watched that yet, and we will get around to it. We felt like we needed to rewatch Sopranos to get to the film. But in any case, there are lots of interviews with the creator, and, famously over the years, there was talks about what to do with Frank Soprano's character. I'm not going to spoil Sopranos because, unlike OT, even though it's been 10 years, I don't watch Shame. But it is nasty, and I do love it. But coming to find a way to end the show in a way that wouldn't upset viewers, because Tony Soprano, as much as we love him, as much as he had a certain charm to him, he was a terrible guy. He did terrible things, even Pablo Escobar. But the way that it gets portrayed in a TV show, at least for a time, for most people, you can suspend the criminal sort of activity, right? And I feel like there was only really one or two instances where we saw the people that they were dealing to as well. It kind of felt like a faux, like you say, glucose sachet.
It felt like a privileged gang that in future, this is what a fucking gang looks like. We'll live in our fucking suburbs. We'll drive our fucking Kias and whatnot. And then we'll not do anything because neither of us made the name Kinsella mean anything. Yeah. We were born into it. We have our fucking privilege from it for some fucking reason. People still fear us for whatever reason that is, despite the fact that we all know the crew and shit.
Time and time again, yeah.
Was anyone testing them? What are the fucking rat groups there that's trying to test this bloody idiots?
But we don't know. Maybe the temperature in Ireland is they all just respect people's corners and they don't fight over them. Maybe that's what it is.
Gang game is gang game.
Yeah, and greed is greed, right?
Exactly.
But I don't know. It did feel very patty cake. It felt very amicable. Like you stay on your side, I stay on my side, even though my people are doubting me. Gomorrah is a beautiful example of in Italy. We're going all around the world with drugs.
Mate, in Gomorrah,
Yeah.
they were fucking tested every single time.
Yeah.
To the point where you're like, mate, can these guys just have some time? You know?
Yeah.
Let them breathe.
It's like you're constantly, but it's that we talk about this a lot, and OT always mentions this a lot. You need to be fucking paranoid, especially if you're in the drug game.
These guys don't have anything to be paranoid about.
You're not paranoid enough, though. But you're right. If no one's coming for your corners, you don't need to be paranoid.
This guy, Frank, man, you know, I love
Aidan
Gillen.
Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Carcetti.
But wow.
Yeah.
Why did he fucking choose this role? Because
for the culture, he did it for Irish people.
maybe it's the writing that made him look so fucking ridiculous, or the act. I don't know what the fuck was happening with him.
We know he's top tier. We know he's a top tier.
If you tell me that this guy is fucking revered, I'll be like, if I didn't know him.
If this was the way he was introduced to us, yes.
He's fucking Aidan Gillen.
He is.
The only saving grace was fucking Kieran Hines in this for me.
Yeah.
But
that's because his character made it so that his acting would be well received. So it's not because I feel like Aidan Gillen would have given the same sort of performance if his character had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess generally that was my foundational qualm and the first sort of theme that I wanted to talk about, because we can't ignore the fact that we've had decades and decades of quality TV and cinema in regard to the drug game, whether it's the people dealing, whether it's the people receiving, whether it's the cops, whether it's whatever, right? We have a richness in this genre, right? You can even call it like a gangster sort of narrative as well, I suppose. Hairdresser gangsters, right? The next theme I wanted to talk about was diversity.
Wow, it was surprising, man. I didn't know there were so many black people in Ireland.
Yeah, and that disputes your fact. I know it's long gone, and I'm pretty sure I talked about it in our first episode of Black Panther when I was holding the banner for Idris to be James Bond. I know that ship has sailed. I understand that. But that just goes to prove that Idris could go to Ireland and blend in.
At least one more country, yeah. Wow, that was good to see. I was super surprised. I don't think we've watched a lot of Ireland shows. So to me, my preconceived ideas was like, yeah, we'll watch Kane, we'll get to see your, token black guy somewhere. And that's pretty much it. But wow, every other scene, mate.
Yeah, I think Dairy Girls is really the only other Irish show that we've watched.
Yeah.
This also reminds me of our reference degustation with Taika Waititi. We talk about subtitles and we love and sploosh subtitles all the time. Obviously for non-English speaking stuff, but also for when they're speaking English and the accents are a bit different. Like OT trying to understand Korg was also very fun for me. So it was nice to have the subtitles, but most notably, they kept calling it bollocks.
I'm like, what's bollocks?
so we know enough about the culture a little bit to know that they were writing it wrong, unless they spell it differently in Ireland.
I doubt that. I wonder what the fuck bollocks is.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about characters. I guess Frank would be the first one to go to because he is the assumed leader. This show is also called Kin, and I guess it fits the name. Unfortunately, when your kin is shit, your operation is shit. But I think the name was pretty suited. Do you want to start off with Frank?
Let's give it Frank a go. When I saw Aidan with this, I was like interested. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get something really good. I love the fact that we get to be introduced by him by giving commands, saying, "This is my word. I've said it. That's my word goes." I'm like, okay, come on, bring it home. Command your gang. Him calling out Viking. I'm like, yeah, give that bitch an earful. But wow, well, it's just all for show from there on.
Yeah, because he was blowing smoke. Yeah.
Yeah, we get to see him struggle to contain the actions of the family, despite the fact that there's been some hardships. Jimmy loses a kid, and he knows full well that Michael and Jimmy will try and retaliate.
Yeah.
He tells them, don't do it. I'll give you a fucking earful if you do it. Don't do it.
I'll give you a stern word and a finger point.
Yeah, but there was always something weird when I was watching it, because I felt like there was a divide. There was always Jimmy and Michael being mentioned in one breath. And I was like, why is V in all this? Why is he not being mentioned alongside these other two brothers?
Yeah.
And we don't come to later find out until later. But I was like, okay, that's interesting. Okay, where is this going? Because it seemed like, okay, yeah, they gave Frank a bit of, I don't even know they respect him, because at the end of the day,
but that's what
they do their own shit.
That was exactly what I was going to come to. There's two elements in my no real world, just watching TV experience. There's two facets of being an effective drug kingpin or a gang leader. It's respect, but it's also fear.
Yup.
No one feared him enough to respect him. And that was the fucking problem. Like V, particularly, he went and he flew off the handle. Even, I'm just going to keep naming other shows that arguably, definitely better than this, but also fit into the tapestry of the drug game. Power. Raising Kanan. We have our ever eternal Mary J. Blige, right? And her son Kane. He kept doing shit that was detrimental and was in the heat of the moment. And perhaps we could argue toxic masculinity, just like Viking. Yep. Right? And he got handled, but Viking never did. And he never really had to face any sort of consequences. And Frank kind of just let him do it. That was kind of the really frustrating part for me, continuing to watch the show, is how is he the leader? How does he keep being the leader? And he knows nothing. Like, he had no oversight of what was happening between his kin.
Yeah, Imon kept on updating him on what's going on with his family.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah. At what point do you fucking draw the line?
Yeah.
There has to be some modicum of fucking fear.
But he didn't work for the position. And we'll come to Bren in a second. He didn't work for it. He didn't earn it. And I guess as far as we can surmise within the show, we don't know in reality in Ireland. But it seems like no one was going to take your territory. You could just be super shit and no one would come and take your...
Super chill, mate. We're Kinsellers. We're just here chilling. Bren built the name, so we are walking off his back.
They literally had a paper wall defense. Like, if anyone wanted to scoop in, like if Kem wanted to go and scoop in, he definitely could have. It wasn't great. Also, let me address Frank and a facet of his character. I don't know, because only just now recording this episode, I'm finding out that purportedly it was based on the gang, but an insider says you can make up your mind. So it might not even be based on the Kinahan gang. So I don't know if Frank is based on a real person or if they, from a writing perspective, just wrote that he was gay, right? I take qualm.
Why is that?
Well, unfucking fortunately, but surprised to nobody, as part of like being a gang leader, there's so much like homophobic toxic masculinity. You see that from Viking as well in the first episode, right? And just by default, even if it's just straight cis white men, like it's just going to happen anyway, right? And I guess part of the problem I had is because he was a weak leader, right?
Yeah.
So he was a weak leader, and whether he was inspired by, but they're not really owning it. So they decided for Frank's character to be gay.
His sexuality was used as a stick to beat him with it because of his
and
weakness.
it kind of reminds me of like really early introductions to gay characters that fall in love and they tragically have to die. Like, it's not fair. Like, let's stop doing that. Penmanship can be much stronger than that. It can be more multifaceted than that. It wasn't just that he was a weak leader. Exactly what you're saying. It was he's weak because he's gay, right? And obviously there's a lot of like, you know, cock-sucking insults and that sort of thing. And it's like, and then like from a writing point of view, does that mean it's justified because he's not a great leader? It's obviously not, but I guess that's the world in which has been set up.
Yeah, it was. I understood your call with it, and I thought, yeah, like the way they wrote Frank's character in this, I thought he didn't really need to be, or every single opportunity that they had to explain or someone said how inadequate he was as a leader,
it was
his sexuality always came into it being a factor.
If it wasn't the start of the sentence, it was the middle of the sentence, or it was the end of the sentence.
At every single opportunity, like you couldn't miss it. Fuck that shit, man. Like I said, if this was the gang of the future, their fucking values are still way behind, you know? So I'm here sitting thinking of Frank, the character. His sexuality didn't play a part in why I think he was weak. No. He was just fucking stupid. He was lazy as.
Yeah.
Brandon knew as much.
But if we as an audience can acknowledge his sexuality and him being weak as a leader and not merging the two, why does the writing have to do that?
It was the lowest hanging fruit sheet that he could do.
Is it the fructose that is in your sachets or not?
Oh, not even, man. Those didn't hang on the tree. Those already fallen on the ground, mate.
But I just wanted to touch on that because I will always, be screaming for the rooftops for, more queer characters on screen, but not like this, please. Not like this. Let's move on. Let's talk about Birdie. Friends and lovers, I've mentioned many times on the podcast, I struggle when many characters are introduced to me. And even if they don't look or sound the same at all, I struggle to place characters and understand who they are. I say don't spoon feed me from a writing point of view, but usually in films like heist films where they have the names come up on the screen, that actually helps me.
That's for you.
So I actually struggled trying to figure out which character is who, and I understood that they were a family, but I didn't know if people were fucking or if they were a product of the fucking. I didn't understand who was who, which is on me. But I got to the end of 8 episodes and I was still struggling to figure out names, so I think it's on them at that point. But I love Birdie. I love Birdie. We're going to get to Amanda. I think we should leave it till last, but we're going to get to Amanda. But what I love about Birdie is she understood the assignment. She understood the world that was being navigated, and she understood that at any point in time, not challenged in this show, but at any point in time, your place, your position, your power could be taken from you.
Yep.
And she knew that she needed to keep things in line.
Yeah, she did know that. You could tell that she grew up with the family, when they were probably still fighting for power. I mean, getting their name to be so widely known as it is now. And she had that, okay, I understand how things are done.
Yep.
If you're going to make a move, you better expect repercussions, because she wasn't surprised by any of it.
Nope.
Even when Viking had to go to jail, she was like, mate, what did you expect?
Yeah.
We live this life. You always live with the possibility that someone's going to go to jail for a very long time.
Yeah.
At the drop of a hat.
Yep.
It's not a shock. You're fucking in the business. You're in the game.
She was a tata.
Yeah.
That's a Narcos reference.
And I loved her. I wanted to understand why she wasn't leading the gang, though.
Well, we come to that, and I guess because we are talking about Birdie, we can come to it. I loved it. Like you mentioned with your Desperate Housewives, or even that, is it called Weeds, with that suburban mum? If I wanted to watch a show of people haphazardly trying to figure out how to deal drugs, then that's not necessarily my jive. Is it too much of me to ask to have a theatrical, all enthralling, action-filled and fully engrossing drug game TV show? Is that too much to ask? I want to see people at the top of their game. I want to see people that if they topple, they deserve to be toppled. I don't want these amateurs coming in trying to do it, succeeding, and then not knowing what to do about it. And that's why I really like Birdie. And I guess coming to that, we meet Bren I think it was the last episode, was it not? We meet Bren. I don't know, and maybe I just missed it in the dialogue. I feel like it wasn't really noted that there was a bigger, higher power or hierarchy within the Kinsella family. But if there was, we finally meet Bran. And like you said at the start of the episode, it made so much sense that this is how they rose to eminence. This is how they rose to notoriety, why people were shaking in their boots whenever they heard the Kinsella name.
Yep.
But unfortunately, because of Frank, it's all being undone. And we hear it from Bren's mouth that he didn't want to disrespect Frank, even though he knew.
But it would have been a better fit.
He knew at the time that Frank couldn't deliver. But again, toxic masculinity, he had to give it to Frank. For what reason? He didn't prove himself at all. And we had the qualified, more well than ready woman ready to lead. But unfortunately, it wasn't her time. And perhaps it is now.
Yeah, I think that window's probably gone with everything that's gone on with the show. But I really appreciated her that she knew what to do and everyone sought her opinion on things.
Yeah.
When she sat down with Frank or Viking or even Michael, they all listened.
Yeah.
And that comes down to fucking respect. If Buddy was really at the helm, I don't think any of this shit happens.
No, absolutely not.
One of the qualms that I had with this, though, on a more general note is they were so fucking content.
Yes.
What gang is so fucking content and so fucking complacent?
But you said no one was coming for their territory, so maybe that's why.
They don't want to grow. Eamon was just taking it out and using them as fucking sex dolls at this point.
Yeah.
Like, far out.
Yeah.
They had no say. They were just, as long as you're making $1 million out of every 50 million you're getting, Eamon. And then even when Frank was speaking about what they need to do for Eamon, we'll make Eamon so fucking rich. He will never look at us like he could be replaceable. I'm like, mate.
It's like you're begging for your place.
What gang is this?
Yeah.
You named the show fucking Kin as a play of words of the fucking Kinsella. And then what? For you to be so fucking subservient to fucking Eamon?
Yeah.
Let's make fucking Eamon so much money to know that we're not replaceable?
But that's Frank. Like, Frank doesn't want to make waves. He wants to just sustain and be content, like you said.
We watched Snowfall, a kid who just fucking dropped out of bloody high school with so much fucking fervor and ambition and gusto.
Yep.
He was climbing that ladder, mate.
Yeah.
It's weird watching a gang show where people were just like we should have recorded them when Bran was still leader and not now.
Yeah, but that's just it, right? Because maybe it gets boring from a writing point of view to have successful drug lords, but it's boring for us to see people fucking struggle and do nothing.
Oh, I'll just go to the office anyway, just going to the
Then work at a media conglomerate then.
Oh, bloody hell.
But that's what I'm saying. It literally could have been about anything else. But because it's part of the drug game genre, it unfortunately pales in comparison with all of the offerings that we've mentioned throughout this podcast.
You know what it is? You mentioned this while we were watching. It's like Shiv, Kendall, and fucking Roy leading a gang, a drag gang, because of what the father had done previously.
To be fair, I didn't say Shiv. I said Kendall only. Nice try. Your first pancake?
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Actually, Frank is so fucking con at this point. Oh, dear Lord. It's like those guys being given the keys to the castle, which they don't fucking deserve.
And they didn't
but
work
it's
for.
in a more dangerous situation where there's no fucking succession. Like, it's ridiculous.
It is. And I think the reason why I feel confident in saying what I'm saying is because we're not just talking about American TV shows. We're talking about shows in Germany, in Spain, in Italy. Like, we're talking about so many shows, and South Korea. Like, we're talking about settings in countries all around the world that have the very similar themes of needing to control your territory and having a sense of ambition. So that's why I don't think it's too out of turn to want to expect it from a show like this. Maybe they weren't ambitious, right? We don't all need to be the Stringer Bells of the world or the Franklin Saints of the world, right? So maybe they were fine keeping it, but they didn't even seem to want to protect what they currently had. And again, maybe that's just because they're so entitled to having it, they can't imagine a scenario through fault of their own that they lose it.
Yeah.
And I guess that was part of the problem. But Birdie is the OG. A.N. She ain't playing. Go and watch Succession, friends and lovers. We will be covering it very, very shortly. All right. So in regards to the three buffheads, who do you want to cover first?
Let's cover Michael.
All right.
He's been released from jail. He wants to see his kid. Fair enough. You can understand that at a base level.
Yep.
But considering all the circumstances, because I was like, why are they telling him not to see his kid?
Yeah.
And then we were like, did he fucking kill the mom or some shit?
Yeah.
That turned out to be true.
Yep.
Because we were able to guess pretty much everything that was going to go on in this show.
Yep.
And I think that's also another problem, but we'll get back to it later.
No, just because we see something coming doesn't necessarily mean
Well,
it's
you
bad.
see everything coming, though.
We've seen the demise of very many beloved characters, OT. So I personally, OT Sachet personally, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing from a writing point of view or from a viewing experience. But continue, my love.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, oh, fuck, you need to stay away from this kid. Or give her some space. Let her be the one to reach out, you know? And you can still understand at the start why he was so insistent, because maybe he felt he changed in the 10 years he was in prison. You thought, okay, you've got your shit down. You want to be out of the family game, but a lot of this stuff happened around him, and he gets pulled in back so quickly and easily.
Just when I thought I was out,
they pulled me back in. And I was like, okay, cool. But if you go back to this,
you're in.
You're in. And just let your daughter be made.
Yeah.
But of course, he wanted his cake and to eat it too.
Let's talk about one thing. And I do want to make it clear, even though we know what we're talking about. We're talking about a TV show. We're talking about a TV show. We're talking about a TV character. Addiction is a motherfucker, right? And the circumstances in which he killed his wife or his partner, I'm not sure if they were married, that is so tragic. But that circumstance specifically, wouldn't that make you want to leave your daughter alone and let her live her life? Because it wasn't as if it was a car crash or it was a different sort of circumstance where you weren't 100% to blame. Unfortunately, he was high, so he probably didn't have his full faculties about him. However, the tragicness and the sadness and the fact that anytime she would think about her father, she would think about the fact that he killed her. Isn't that enough to just leave her alone?
Yeah.
Let people fucking heal, man.
Or let her be bloody old enough. Let her be 18 or some shit and let her reach out by herself.
But when we went back and forth, I literally said it before she did. You can't just fucking go into her life, show her the possibility and what it's like to potentially have a father's love, and then decide, oh no, it's not safe anymore. You already opened the door of hope.
Yup. You don't get to check out.
Selfish.
You don't get to check out whatever the fucking
Selfish.
reason. You knew it was going to be dangerous to involve her, especially with everything going on. Though they had bounties on their fucking head, and they still decided, oh wait, you know, they're not gonna shoot a grandma at church on Sunday. Let me go meet up with my kid.
Yeah.
You know what? You pissed off the wrong fucking guy.
Yep.
They're gonna shoot the fucking hat off, and for you to hold down, and be like, oh no, I don't want to see you anymore. It's too dangerous. You knew it was dangerous from the start.
Yeah, no information had changed or been presented to you. You had all of the information and you made the choice that you made.
Like, everyone was so stupid. I just don't understand.
But they weren't even like, sometimes you need to be stupid to save the ones that you love. No, they were just like out of the packet, no instructions, no battery attached, stupid.
Yeah. It felt like people who didn't know what to do. They didn't know their life.
Stay out
they
of the
didn't
game.
grow up in their life, and they're just, the fact that Michael is the one that's regarded as the fucking magician because he's fucking killed, I think tells you all you need to know.
But that's the power, raising Canaan. The streets need a body.
Oh, yeah. It just felt so bloody diluted.
Yeah.
With stupidity.
Yeah.
People not thinking that there are things called consequences in fucking life.
Anna deserved more. You know who else deserved more? Jimmy. So let's finish off Michael and we'll go to Jimmy. So you can comment on this or not. I don't know. I feel like it would have been better if they had presented the timeline of the two brothers and Amanda better. But however they chose to lay it out is how they did. It wasn't enough to make it hard to keep up with the show. But there was always the constant questioning of what the fuck is going on in this relationship. Initially, we thought that it was Michael and Amanda that had a secret thing, and then publicly,
Michael went to jail and Jimmy swooped in.
Yeah, that's what we thought. No, friends and lovers. That's not. Amanda is fucking messy, man. Forget your Love Islands, forget your Bachelors, forget whatever. She's the messiest bitch I've ever met in my life. So the way that I understand now that we're at the end of the show, Amanda was always with Jimmy.
Yup.
Jimmy had a stint in jail. Michael swooped on in. They had a baby. Michael went to jail, and then Jimmy came out.
I'm not sure that's the correct sequence. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Though always a Jimmy. She was always a Jimmy. And for whatever reason, they fucked about with Michael, got pregnant, and man, the scene of Jimmy asking Michael,
sad.
Why did you just tell me? Of course, I'd be fucking upset. I would have raged.
But I would have gotten over it.
And I would have been happier now
and
with
find
someone else.
Yeah.
And that tells you everything you need to know about this fucking show.
Yeah.
Everyone is so fucking
Are they stupid or are they selfish or are they both?
Selfish is stupid. Even Michael, the one who is supposed to think has some sort of level head and has some fucking, he thinks about his fucking ideas a bit.
Very initially.
He's crap. Yeah. At the end of it, I was like, fucking Amanda and Michael can get in the bin.
Yeah, they should call it bin sellers.
Yeah, change the kin from kin to bin. Because everyone in them was living in the fucking bin. Oh my God.
But I love Jimmy. I love Jimmy so much. And I talked a lot about toxic masculinity. He was always so vulnerable and he was always so open with Amanda.
Yeah. And I knew.
He's like if we could talk about cuckolders with passion and emotion and they deserve love and attention, that's Jimmy.
You know what? He's Omar. He's fucking open with his feelings. You know, he can be ruthless in the street.
Yeah.
But when he comes home, he expects that tender loving. Mm-hmm. He wants to be hard, to be loved, and to have his feelings hard.
Yeah.
But to be met by a fucking stone cold woman who doesn't fucking reciprocate any of that. Yep. How many times did we count that Jimmy said, "I love you"? That was met with fucking dead silence.
Yeah.
All throughout. Don't even fucking fake it. Nah, nada.
But I guess that it's like you can't choose who you love, right?
Nah,
and because
man.
why would he continue to keep putting himself through that if for the fact that he didn't love Amanda?
He thought there was an option. He thought he didn't know.
No, I think he's accepted it for a long time.
No, he told Michael, if you told me that you loved Amanda and she loved you back, mate, don't blame me for a fool. She just thought it was some, romantic sort of, loins hot shit. Yeah. I don't know what you call it now, but it made me feel for Jimmy so much. He's my favorite character in this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And every decision that fucking Amanda makes, I want Michael to give the eulogy. I'm like, what?
Who are you to even open your mouth, you fucking bitch? She's a fucking bitch. I'm women for women, but she's a fucking bitch.
You told me that all along through some of the series that I have a problem with women characters. You don't like women. I've never felt fucking justified more than in this fucking show.
Well.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, bloody hell.
Well, I do agree with you, so I don't think I can dispute you.
All tongue in cheek, though. I think
tongue in the other cheeks, it seems. But let's talk about Amanda. We've been pussyfooting around her, but we might as well confront her directly. Friends and lovers, we did say go and watch Succession. We have referenced Succession. I'm not going to spoil anything. It's quite clear, even from the trailer. Kendall Roy, in particular, I had a fundamental qualm with him, and he hasn't come into any sort of character development from my point of view. And what I mean by that is, and I guess I'll relate it to Amanda. Amanda is embedded in a very powerful organization. Let's just say it's a family, but in any case, she's embedded in a very powerful organization. She has it in her mind that she wants to overthrow the powers that be outside of her organization and also within her organization. She also feels like her shit don't stink, so she can go away from the reporting lines and do whatever the fuck she wants, right? Fine, cool, yeah. But once she gets to where she gets to, she can't handle it. Then fuck right off then. Live your happy, cushy life at the car dealership where you're washing the money and keep your mouth shut. And that's it. Like, you literally could live for the rest of your life without anything. It's the pretentiousness. It's the illusion that she's not doing anything wrong. And then it's her deciding to Walter White herself without even realizing when you do some big man things, the big man comes after you. Like, that's the fundamental qualm that I had with Amanda, because she was doing these, big man things, but she didn't realize people were going to come back. Like, it's going to come back. You're embedded in the game. This is what it fucking is. It's the trade-off, right? As being a part of this, it's unfucking fortunately sad. But any sort of, if I could reference Pacino in Heat, don't have any collateral, because that's where they fucking get you. That's where you have a problem. And they're all fucking collateral because they're all useless and they're all related.
It felt like work experience day. It felt like fucking work experience day with Amanda.
Not even intern?
Not even.
Okay.
Like, where does she get off? She's supposed to be this smart, conniving person. Mm-hmm. I'm yet to even understand where the smart is. I don't see it. They kept on saying she's smart. Where is it?
And just 1 second, when the police came to interrogate her at the car dealership, they could obviously see she was pressing, maybe they didn't know it was the delete button, but like, why were they sitting opposite her is my point.
Then again, mate, if you press delete, you've not done shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck
you got logs.
You've cleaned her. Oh, I've deleted the record.
What kind of IT forensics do they have?
Oh, man. Anyway, that's
they probably have 50 Cent as their forensics for IT. Because what the fuck?
She is just a nuance in this. From how she treats Jimmy. Even when she was talking when the kid was still alive, she was very, very hypocritical.
Yep.
Don't be, but they keep their business out in the air. They fucking talk about everything. That kid knew everything about the business.
Yep.
And then you expect this kid to make a different decision from seeing easy money and easy success and say, oh, I'm going to fucking go to college.
Yep.
You've shown nothing. Yep. You've given him nothing to make that decision. You pretend as if, oh, this is not what we want from you. But May, you don't hide shit from him.
Yeah.
He knows who the family is. He knows everything you do. You talk openly about that shit.
Yep.
And then you expect him, you wonder, and you even go to the fucking extent of blaming your Jimmy.
Yep.
Because the kid wants in on the game. And then when the kid dies, you still blame Jimmy because he said you can go and fucking meet Michael.
Yep.
Who is the actual fucking father?
Yep.
Oh, hey. I've never watched a show and just felt so frustrated at every single turn by a character.
I think she just decided to unofficially make them polygamous because I don't understand. She had brother husbands.
This is big love, mate.
It is, yeah.
I'm expecting Jane Triplehorn to fucking appear out of nowhere.
Oh, can we? I love it, Miss Jane Triplehorn. Can we, please? Has she played a linguistics expert? What does that tongue do, Triplehorn?
No, it will elevate the bloody show.
Yeah.
I think, watching Amanda, mate. How many times have we been crying we need a strong lead woman in shows and not them fucking subservient shit or some old-fashioned shit that we see in all other TV shows?
Yep, but now your misogyny is showing, so it's undoing all of the comments.
No, I'm saying we've been wanting this.
Yeah, I know.
But the execution is fucking wrong.
Yeah, no, like look for the strong woman in Birdie. Don't look at Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda's just...
I don't know, bro. We can talk about the population of Ireland, but even the world. There's billions of people. You had to, and you were compelled. The power of your pussy compelled you to slip into the brother. Come on.
Michael and Jimmy will do anything Amanda says.
Yep.
She's got half of the family on lock.
Yeah.
Anyone that's against Amanda is
fine. No, but that's fine. But she didn't deserve it.
She doesn't. What is she? She's not. She said, let's go fucking rob Eamon.
Yeah.
They rob Eamon, and then what?
Yeah.
Oh, Eamon's retaliating. Oh no!
And then, okay, because this is a great contrast. When Eamon had Amanda at gunpoint, compare it to when Eamon had Birdie at gunpoint, fuck off. That is a great contrast and juxtaposition between the two characters of how she was so ill-equipped, but she wanted all of the glory.
That's what I said. It was fucking work experience day for her in this show.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she's like, they had to give her like a line that I'm a Kinsella now. Fuck right off. Kinsella's been shit.
How?
Shit.
How?
You're fucking Kinsella because they're all shit anyway.
But this also goes back to us. And as we say, what do we love the most more than anything, OT? A firm
foundation.
And the fact that someone so useless like Amanda could topple the Kinsella gang, that just shows how unformidable they were.
And then they make Frank out to be like that conspiracy guy in the games people play that's just bubbling on and on. Oh, Amanda's trying to divide us. Amanda's this, Amanda's this. And then he takes all the drugs.
Yeah.
I'm like, and now Buddy knows, and now they're prepping for season 2 because I know this shit. I'm like, you know what? Do I have the patience to see how this goes or the writing gets better? I highly doubt the writing will get better.
Well, it probably take 1 or 2 years before the next season comes out. I would be interested to see.
If they knew
they
did have the manpower, the money, the cojones to deal with Eamon, they've gone and killed Eamon's fucking boss's kid.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think that brings?
Yeah. Because like you mentioned many times while we were watching the show, they don't realize Eamon's not the big bad.
It's not.
And like you said, everyone reports to someone. And it was kind of nice seeing Eamon with his tail between his legs. Because he was this big, powerful force that everyone bowed down to. But even he is subservient to someone.
Yep.
Unless you're like Gennaro and you become the distro yourself.
Yep.
Go and fucking watch Gamora, you motherfuckers.
And I'm like, out of all this, why are you fucking relying on bloody Eamon to get you? Mate, travel the fucking world.
Right? Because when they had that money, they were like, oh, naturally, we need to sell it back to Eamon. I'm like, fuck off. Sell it out of Ireland.
Hey, you can do anything. You didn't even need to rob Eamon. Go fucking get your drug. Go source your own distro.
Yeah.
The world is a big place, you know?
Yeah.
There's other places outside of fucking Europe.
I know.
Not thinking of fucking Belgium.
Yeah.
Mate, get out of the fucking continent. What the fuck is this? Bloody hell. Oh, we're going to source some drugs in Belgium. What the fuck is in Belgium?
Yeah.
Get out of the continent, mate.
Yeah.
Source your distro.
Yeah.
Source your own
Or
distro.
be your distro.
And Eamon will mean shit all to all of you.
Because even Gennaro was like, fuck Naples. And then he left Italy.
Everyone.
Yeah.
You get your own sauce.
Yeah.
Stop relying on third parties.
Yeah. Be your own boss.
Yeah. And this is something that these smart motherfuckers couldn't think of.
Yeah. No one's saying they're smart. No one's disputing that, my love.
They'll keep on saying how smart they are.
Yes.
Oh, I'm smart. You know? Listen to me.
But maybe it's like those people that are like, we're happily married. If you're happily married, why do you have to tell me, bro?
You know why I'm so frustrated? It's because of the hope that I got from the first episode, and I thought they'd laid a really good foundation.
What frustrated you more, this or Squid Game?
The Squid Game, because there was so much potential in that.
Yeah, there were like 3 good episodes.
With this,
3 great episodes in that.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of drug shit. Like, I'd fall back on
You
something.
need to be on par or you need to be better.
Snowfall will come back and I'll forget all about Ken in a few weeks.
No, well, you haven't forgotten about Camelot.
Oh, that's true.
I love how that's what I've taken out of this. You never know. Friends and lovers, especially those that don't podcast, turning on the mic is a beautiful thing because magical things can happen. But apparently not in Camelot. Eamon. I really respected his character. I appreciated it because, again, we're in the drug game. You need ruthless motherfuckers that are going to hold their ground and strong arm everyone, right? So that's what Eamon was. That's what he presented and that's how he carried himself. So to have, level 1 -5 XP Amanda come along and topple him, it was very frustrating, right? Because so what we have at the end of the episode, what we have to follow in season 2 is We were aware that Amanda had asked Jimmy to do something, so she ended up killing the 2IC to Eamon. We come to see that, not necessarily through Amanda's hand, but we have Frank ODing. We have Birdie with newfound knowledge that it wasn't Eric specifically that needed to take the hit. It was anyone. So that's what Amanda chose.
Yeah.
So that's really new and powerful information in the hands of a great character. And then we also find out that Amanda apparently is good with, she understands loose ends. So not only has she orchestrated all of this, but she's made sure that Eamon is no longer a problem. But unfucking fortunately, I don't even know why Michael did it. He could have really just shot Eamon and left.
Yep.
But I think he wanted that big speech at the end because he has such a boner for Amanda, I suppose. But I would be interested in a season 2. I won't have heightened expectations, which is kind of good because then I'm not going to be more frustrated.
Yeah, I
want to see Birdie take on Amanda. But what's frustrating is Amanda doesn't even deserve to go toe-to-toe with Birdie anyway.
I think this is more of a weekly show, I think watching it back to back like we did raised a lot more of the frustrations that I feel more now.
Yeah.
If I had taken a break in between a week to just fucking forget about it and then go in and they're like, oh, this is also going on. Let me just see how it's going.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been different in terms of how I feel how it should have gone. Yeah. Then I wouldn't have had such high hopes thinking that something's going to change. True. Because it's just, I'm expecting season 2 to just write them better, write the characters better.
Can we get rid of Amanda? I don't think so.
Make it more grounded. If you're building it around Amanda being the big bad, fine. Do it, but do it properly. Just improve everyone's fucking level a notch. It's just too haphazard at the moment. Everyone's bloody everywhere. No one really knows what they're doing and who they are. I feel like the Viking still has a big part to play in all this.
If he can keep a cool head, he could be a very effective leader. I don't know if that's where we're going with Viking's character, but I feel like he could be because he would make hard decisions.
Yeah. But one thing that was a juxtaposition of what Eamon was saying was, he said he had to be ruthless above all so people can fear him. Because if he wasn't that, people would come for his head.
Yep.
And then imagine a situation where, be it Tony Soprano, be it
Franklin Saint,
or even Barksdale.
Yeah.
Imagine them having their 2 RCs. Lead the rival gang leader to their stash house. Give them everything.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Them going back to their bosses and being, they took everything.
Oopsie.
And the boss is like, May, it's okay. They are your son. It's understandable.
Not even like a slap to the face. Not even like, I'm going to punch your kid. Like nothing.
And I'm like, you lost 50 million.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Because I guess if we're talking about millions, sometimes it's relative compared to, how fast you can sell the drugs. Very famously in Power, they could get $1 million in one day selling drugs on the street. But it seemed like 50 million was the whole chunk.
It was the whole stash.
Yeah.
That big boss was waiting for his change in that.
That made no sense. That made no sense at all.
You just spoke about how you had to be ruthless. You couldn't let any of the kin sellers go without having to kill one of them.
Yeah.
Because that's your rep and you have to stand by that.
Yeah.
But you let someone who led
in your team
into the stash,
Yep.
took everything.
Yep.
Not a sample. No. The whole fucking thing.
Everything.
And your reaction was like, yeah, man, it was understandable. Hey, how your kid, he couldn't do anything, eh? You better get it back.
But let's be clear, as useless as the kin gang were, Dots wouldn't have done that. He would have been like, kill me. I'm not telling you where it is. I'm not letting you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You want to ban my kid, eh?
Yeah.
Can't fucking ban you all.
Yeah, exactly.
The fact that we're supposed to be scared of big bad Eamon.
Yeah.
Condor wasn't scared of him to the point of being like, fuck that shit. Because if I lead you to my stash house, I'm going to be dead.
Yeah.
I won't be able to enact any revenge for you killing my kid.
Interesting. So from a writing point of view, everyone feared him, but not in practice.
Yeah.
There was no fear. I think Fear and respect. Yeah, I don't know if that... I think they made it presented that way, but I don't know necessarily. Because if Con Doyle, his OG right hand... Think about Gustavo in Narcos. Come on, man. Right?
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, that doesn't fly. You're right.
It doesn't fly.
You're right.
And I was like, there's so many fucking holes. It's so gang light.
You
I'm
don't
like,
have holes. Rest in peace, Jessica Walter.
I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's fucking flavored glucose. It's just fucking flavored glucose at this point. Give me the fucking real shit.
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah.
Yo, 2IC is not scared
Yeah.
of this big bad demon.
Yeah.
For you to lead them, knowing full well you're gonna go. I was expecting him to go run away after that with his kid. No. He had the fucking essence and presence to go to him and be like, "Oh, they took it all, man. How did they take it? You drove them. You showed them where the stash house is. You put the lift for.
You rode it.
Opened the fucking crate. You gave them everything.
Yeah.
You didn't even have a fucking dummy box on the side and be like, oh yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you felt secure enough that Eamon will fucking let you be.
Yeah.
Because if Eamon was the fucking saying ruthless person he was,
Yeah.
he'd be like, if I tell you, I'm dead. If I take you there and give it out, I'm dead with my son. My whole fucking family is gone.
Yeah.
So there's no fucking point in me taking you when I know we're all gonna fucking die anyway. So fuck you.
And I hate that Con Doyle went and threatened Anthony.
Like, it's just fucking flavored water at this point, mate. You're not big bad for nothing. No one fucking fears you.
Yeah. No, and to be fair, I didn't even think that until you said it. Because the performance, the acting
Imagine
was so well
taking
done.
Tony Soprano's stash and you think that he was gonna let you be.
Or even like Tommy at one point. Tommy was a 2IC full ghost. Tommy would never let that fucking happen.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Tommy would fucking kill your whole family just to make sure.
Yeah.
Maybe the gangs in Ireland are different.
Maybe. But we've
The one place in the world where fucking money and greed and power doesn't mean shit.
Well, maybe that's a nice sentiment. It's frustrating from a TV point of view.
Yeah.
But if everyone can get along, I guess that works.
We're
as well.
all in this together.
Okay, we need to end now. Women hating High School Musical singing OT.
Oh man, a PC gang, eh?
A PC gang.
I never thought I'd live to the day, man. Fucking hell. Oh, it's very understandable. They had your kid, eh?
It was all just folly. It was all just folly. But yeah, it's Friends and Lovers. OT singing High School Musical is essentially turning on the lights at the nightclub because it's time to leave.
Oh dear.
Hoo. Or I guess in reference to the nightclub, doof, doof, doof. Let's finish off in a segment we call For Your Reference. Since you famously did not enjoy this, what would you recommend, OT?
Snowfall, Sopranos, Gomorrah. The list goes on. There's fucking endless.
Yeah.
Endless.
Yeah.
Watch that. You'll get better writing, better payoffs, more tension around. And then it'll fucking make sense at the base level. They're not good people, and that's the fucking point.
No, because even in Succession, they're not necessarily good people, but we enjoy watching it.
Yeah, I'm saying they're fucking killing people to get where they got.
Yeah.
They're not good people in that aspect.
Oh, okay.
So, no fucking pretext of, ooh, they had your kid, eh? No fucking pretext of, oh, Amanda's now leading, eh? Work experience, buddy. Fuck that shit. Just watch something else. Is alls.
Watch something else. And thank you for leaving a reference for me, OT. First of all, thank you, Friends and Lovers. Very regularly, OT, we're getting random downloads on 4Blocks.
Good.
I think it's because I mention it as much as I can on this podcast. Please go and watch 4Blocks and then listen to our podcast episode, and you can write it and snap it off.
Snap it off would be the best part of this.
Well, if you'd like to break off OT's back on Twitter and Instagram, we're at For Your F-Pod.
Write us an email at hello@f4podcast.com.
We're also on a condensed version of OT podcast if you'd like to leave a rating and review. And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.